Okay, we're going to bring our May 26th City Council meeting to order, and we will begin with roll call, please.
Sarchet.
Here.
Savage.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here.
Hill. Otis.
Here. Item number 3, approval of agenda. I'll ask for a motion and a second.
Second.
And roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Otis.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Savage.
Item number 4 is a public hearing. It's time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the FY26 budget amendment number 2. Susan, when was the notice published?
May 13, 2026.
Have we had any written comments received for or against the FY26 budget amendment number 2?
No, sir.
At this time, then, I'd like to request staff to provide a report.
Good evening. This public hearing is for budget amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2026. The proposed amendment increases revenues by $407,582 and expenditures by $344,814. Key items included in the amendments are park improvements funded through donations, expenses related to special events previously operated by the Chamber, the park cost share program performing better than expected, administrative and software costs, CIWW reimbursable capital expenditure, the 415 and Northwest 44th concept study, the 3rd Street corridor study, and improvements to the old schoolhouse. Your alternatives are not to approve the amendment, and it is my recommendation that you approve the amendment.
Anything from council? All right. Thank you, Andrew. Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the FY26 budget amendment number 2? Then I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Savage.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Otis.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
I need a motion and a second then to approve the resolution approving FY26 budget amendment number 2.
Before we do that, and maybe I missed this on some of this, but particularly on the studies and a few of the listed items here, could we, when we approve these, budget amendments after the fact, so we really don't have a choice. We need to approve it. I understand that, but it would be nice to know when we're doing some of these things, if we can, and I recognize that we cannot always, if it was a budgeted item or we think this will result in some sort of amendment. Is that a fair ask?
Yeah, I think we do try to put that in our staff memos, but yeah, we will make sure that we add that information.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've had a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Haven't we, Susan?
No, we need a motion.
We have not. We need a motion and a second to approve the resolution approving FY26 budget amendment number 2.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Otis.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Moving on then to item number 5, public comments. This is the time and place for comments for any item other than those that are a public hearing. Susan, did anyone fill out a card prior to the council meeting?
No, sir.
Do we have anybody in attendance who wishes to speak at this time? We ask that you identify yourself and give your address, please.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Keegan Reed. I've worked in Polk City for the last 15 years. I've lived and owned and operated a business here for the last 7. Care deeply about this community. I purchased an established business of nearly 30 years and choose to continue operating it here at 201 Bluff. I've supported many of you in elections. I contribute to local parks and rec efforts, and I'm invested in Polk City, continuing to grow and succeed. I want to start by saying that I am not against the trail project itself. I understand the value of connecting the Neil Smith and High Trestle trails. And I actually believe it would create new opportunities for local businesses, mine included. My concern is not the existence of the trail, it's the communication and transparency surrounding the actual route and how it impacts neighboring property owners. For the last 2 years, the routes that were publicly published and discussed gave me a different understanding of where this trail would run. I believe that the trail would go up Bluff and leave town on North 3rd. It wasn't until last week that I was informed the trail is planned to run within just a few feet of my commercial building. At no point during the process was I directly contacted or informed that the final alignment would be this close to my property and business operations. Honestly, I'm left wondering if I hadn't reached out myself, would I have even been told? That's difficult to understand considering how impactful this is to my property. I have several concerns I hope the council will consider. First, the offset from the distance from my building. How much space will there be between the trail and my commercial building? Second, erosion and drainage control. I would like clarification on what protections will be put in place to prevent erosion issues or water problems near my building and property. Third, privacy and security. The current plans appear to significantly impact the privacy that currently separates my building from the area where the trail will run. Having a public trail within a few feet of my occupied commercial building changes the security and privacy situation considerably. I feel the need to add additional security cameras on my property directed towards the trail. And finally, I believe there should be a conversation about mitigation efforts affecting property owners. If the city is unwilling or unable to adjust the route, I would ask the city to consider covering the cost of installing a roughly 50-foot by 8-foot tall privacy fence to help offset the impact this project creates on my property's privacy. I think the fence would also open up the possibility of a mural on the trail as riders enter and leave town. I want to work collaboratively toward solutions that would benefit both the community and the property owners most directly affected by this project. I appreciate your time tonight, and I look forward to speaking with you more about this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Keegan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask a quick dumb question?
Yes, sir.
Bluff is obviously one of the longer roads in town, all of a block.
Yep.
So I'm guessing your property is on the corner of Second.
Yes, sir. I back up to the Presnell property.
Okay. I had a 50-50 chance. I just wanted to make sure.
Again, thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 6, then consent items. I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve consent items, please.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
I apologize. Who was the second? Oh, thank you.
Nick.
Okay. Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
We're going to move on to item number 7 then, which is business items. A, third and final reading of ordinance 2026-700, amending chapter 90 water service system, section 90.2020, water usage restrictions. Chelsea, you have a report?
I am going to just give a quick update on this matter for the council. I had a citizen reach out about their concerns with how vague the ordinance was. And I told the citizen that I would do some follow-up work for them, and then I would have the conversation with the city council at the third and final reading. I want to mention that the way the ordinance is written is it's definitely not as detailed as the Central Iowa Waterworks agreement. But Central Iowa Waterworks did not ask us to put a ton of detail into the ordinance. They just wanted us to be able to enforce the issue should it come up. And we actually use this ordinance to enforce other water emergencies as well. It's not just specific to Central Iowa Waterworks. So the way the ordinance is written is it does grant the city the power to act when appropriate, and also when the Central Iowa Waterworks does require the city to address matters and to act. If the city council is concerned about this, we could potentially reference CIWW in the ordinance. When I discussed that with the city attorney, her concern was that the more information you put about CIWW details, it could potentially limit the city on other matters that would be deemed an emergency. So the reason that we did add the language in this shortage in water supply, or in storage and supply, and the restrictions on water usage constitutes an emergency. That was the information we were provided by Central Iowa Waterworks, and we included that, that we would be required to give residents a notice. So if anybody was ever in violation of the Central Iowa Waterworks designated emergency, we will be required to give them the 48-hour notice that is identified in the ordinance. So I did just want to bring this to the council's attention tonight. I think I have run the matter by both the city attorney as well as CIWW, and they think that what we've proposed in the ordinance does address what they've asked us to do. Does anybody have any follow-up questions?
Thanks.
Hearing none, then, we will ask for a motion and a second to approve third and final reading of ordinance 2026-700, amending Chapter 90 Water Service System, Section 90.20, Water Usage Restrictions. Motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second?
And a roll call.
Savage?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Moving on to item B, third and final reading of ordinance 2026-800, amending Chapter 92 Water Rates, Section 92.02, Rates for Service. We don't really have a report here. It's third and final reading. I'll just ask for a motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved.
Second?
And roll call.
Otis? Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Moving on to item C, third and final reading of ordinance 2026-900, amending Chapter 99 Sewer Service Charges, Section 99.01, Sewer Service. We don't have a report here. It's third and final reading. I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second?
And roll call.
Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Item D, third and final reading of ordinance 2026-1000, amending Chapter 103 Stormwater Management Utility, Section 103.03, Basic Rate. Again, third and final reading, no report. Ask for a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second?
And roll call.
Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
No.
Savage?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Item E, resolution approving final plat of Block 10, former City Hall. Travis?
So for council's consideration tonight is a final plat, changing the lot layout for the block 10, which is just north of where the existing, or the prior city hall was, the existing fire station, the existing police station, as well as the city-owned parking lot there on the northwest corner across from Mega Saver. So the final plat includes 3/4 of the block, and is proposing splitting it into two separate city-owned parcels. The first being a parcel that includes the city-owned parking lot, all of the alleys, as well as the area currently occupied by the fire station and police station, as well as the Big Creek Elementary School area as well. The second would be a 0.07 acre infill commercial parcel that kind of came as an idea from the downtown assessment, and council has expressed interest, so we completed that. Through the process, we've worked with city staff to kind of work through a couple of different solutions. At one point, we had potentially shown splitting this into 3 separate parcels. The problem with that being the separation between the police station and the Big Creek Elementary School is less than 10 feet, basically meaning that if you put a property line in between those structures, both have to be retrofitted with a firewall up to current building code standards because you're creating a new lot. That would be a nonconformity that does not exist today. The proposed planning action maintains a nonconformity that exists today in that the Big Creek Elementary School and police station and fire station are 2 primary structures on a single lot. But in doing so, by combining those 2 with the parking lot, we believe we're addressing a nonconformity in that the parking lot is an accessory structure that doesn't have a primary structure on the same lot. So we're combining all of those, so you've got 2 primary structures with an accessory structure. You're not creating an additional nonconformity with that conformity not having firewalls on those buildings, and you're creating that infill parcel. We believe that this approach is similar to how we would administer Polk City Municipal Code for an interested developer in an infill or redevelopment situation. Basically, try to address the non-conformities you have, don't create any additional ones. That's kind of the way that we administer the code. This was discussed extensively at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended council approval of this final plat, and we as a staff would recommend approval as well. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Questions of Travis? Hearing none, we'll ask for a motion and a second to approve resolution final plat of Block 10, former City Hall. Motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Otis.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Item F is simply a discussion item, discussion of library and police schematic. Chelsea and Chief Sipker are going to lead this.
I am going to start, and Chief did some research on this topic. So in the fiscal year 2027 budget, we do have a library and a police schematic project built into the budget. This is to look at doing a schematic for an addition to the library on the lot that the city purchased immediately adjacent to the library. And then the police schematic was to draft up a schematic for a future police station. We had a council meeting a few months ago where one of the council members asked for this to be a discussion about looking at other properties for a police station. I had asked Chief to do a little bit of research on this, and so I'll let him talk about what he found and what his proposal is tonight.
Okay. So for those that weren't here, back in 2020, the city had hired Shive Hattery to do a city facilities master plan. And within that plan, it was determined that a 30-year need for a police department would be just under 10,000 square feet. I spoke with Travis, city engineer, about what size of lot we would need in order to build a one-story police station to include parking, detention, and meet setback requirements. We determined that to be 1.5 acres. The requirements to build a two-story facility that size was determined to be just 1 acre. 300 South 4th Street is 0.91 acres. The vacation of Wood Street, as previously discussed, would provide adequate acreage for a two-story building. One of the original reasons we chose that particular lot was so that we could maintain a city campus. City Hall, police, and fire all next to each other. This was a convenience, excuse me, for the public as well as city staff. My recommendation to City Council that we continue with our original plan, keep the property at 300 South 4th Street as a location for a future police station, and I also recommend that we do not sell off a portion of that property. I think that's it. Any questions?
Questions of Chief?
Yeah, so I don't remember, continuing with the plan strikes me wrong. I know we had discussions about acquiring that property, and I still stand behind that decision. And it seems as though, and I could be wrong, but it was, a police station would be a logical use there for the campus reasons, other factors that,
Yep.
but to say that that has been the plan, I don't think is accurate. As we've talked about before, the campus feel is one thing, but the proximity to the square, and needing the police station to be on a major road isn't there. In fact, I would guess, not to project too much, but a lot of what you want to do is out of the light. So, I thought for a long time that, there are a number of commercial options that we better suited. I know we changed the usage for all of Third to be commercial on some of our master planning documentation, and again, haven't really done anything with that. So I think the schematic, at least on the police side, and maybe even on the library side, quite honestly, for different reasons, is a little bit premature. You deserve a plan on, you don't have the space now. What is, and doing this so it doesn't have to be redone, as we've made that mistake with other facilities fairly recently. But I feel like we're getting the cart ahead of the horse, but I don't know how much more we want to go into this. If there's not the other, council's interest in making that commercial, then
I'm actually on the same page as you, Rob. I think you need a new building, no questions asked. We want to get you a new building. I want to get you a new building. I'm not sure that the desire to create a city campus here is necessarily worth giving away a piece of our downtown core. I think that property makes more sense as a commercial property for future development, and finding you a useful place somewhere else makes a bit more sense, long-term development-wise.
So I disagree, right? The fact that we're 900,000 plus on an investment on something that, and I appreciate it, I wasn't around on the council in 22, but I think that would make a good location for the police department. I would think the campus fill would be of a benefit, probably in a minority, but my vote would be to continue that for the police station.
I actually agree with you, Jeff. Not actually, but I do agree with you. If we put the expectation out there that we need to find something, it's just not gonna happen. We're not gonna find anything that's specifically for, not anytime soon, because we're not looking after that.
what if we already have it? I mean, I would argue Third and Davis is a better use for a police station than property a block off the square.
Well, I think that'd have to be discussed too. I mean,
Well, that's my point with this being out of order. I interrupted your stream of thought, so finish it if that's what you.
I feel like we have the ground, we have the area. I know it hasn't been designated or dedicated specifically to the police, but if we keep kicking this can down, I feel like we're just gonna continue to outgrow what we have, and I do like the campus feel. Honestly, that's just my thoughts.
Well, two things there. So the kicking the can down the road analogy, I mean, this identifies no funding mechanisms whatsoever. And I do grow a little bit weary of, like we were just talking about, we've made a number of generational infrastructure investments. And exactly what I said, true is you are owed a plan and you don't have the facilities that by design you would like to have. I do think there are ways to make that happen in the meantime, but again, we've not really vetted any other options. I mean, there's land at the regional park, there's other property, I don't want to get into the specifics of, but we can go into closed session and talk about that don't compromise a very unique property overlooking the square. So I just feel like this has been kind of pushed through a little bit without some of the earlier discussions that we could have had, like, again, I'll go back to Third and Davis because we have it.
We've talked about it for years, though. Years and years and years. We've never done anything.
It's more land, it's flat. Why are we so hell-bent on putting something here when it does, I mean, it's, okay, if we vacate the road, it gets us to the square footage we needed. I mean, have we done any work on vetting Third and Davis or any other properties?
I mean, don't look at me.
I was looking at you, but
the
answer's no.
No, I mean-
And I just feel like
Our work on Third and Davis has been RFPs. We went through one RFP and now we're currently involved in a second one on Third and Davis.
and that's led to nothing. So it could be developed as anything.
Well, not yet. I don't know what.
To be considered at the next council meeting if we get
Right.
proposals.
If we get proposals.
Well, maybe maybe that opens the opportunity for additional discussion on what you just talked about.
Can I switch the conversation back to the building itself? Travis, would you happen to, I heard 30 years, it was estimated we need about 9,800 square feet, correct?
Yes.
Either one. Do either of you know if there was an estimate for 30 years on the fire department?
There was
There was,
for
I don't-
every building, yep.
Okay. Any idea? Because you shared with me earlier today that the fire department is currently about 9,800 square feet. So I was just curious, like, if we're thinking about building police and what that looks like in 30 years, do we also think about what fire needs would be?
So typically what we see in growing communities is you will stick with your main firehouse and then you'll build another one to provide additional service area and quick response time, whereas police, we don't see that as much.
Okay. Do you know if there's like a population or a growth kind of trigger where that usually goes to a second one? Okay, service time.
I think the Iowa Fire Marshals, it's 8 to 10 minutes is acceptable. Most communities try to say 5 to 7.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, I guess if I need an opinion on this topic, it'd be the same one that I had a couple months ago when we talked about this. I'm interested in the two options and seeing both. One at the original of what the block could hold with 9,800 square feet, removing that street, 2 stories, what was originally designed out. But then also what Rob brought up, what would you make it look like if you were to sell the front section? I'm interested in both because the cost of a smaller police station is going to be less. And that could drive a discussion, is it possible to get one a little bit quicker if we're talking about less investment?
Selling the front section, what do you
Right.
mean? Of this lot here?
If there'd be room for, obviously, they need bigger than they have now, and so 10,000 square feet would be great, but is it feasible within 3 to 4 years to do that?
So your proposal here is to build them a 10, 15, 20-year building? Sell off the front portion of the block next to us?
I don't think it's proposing a 10 or 15-year, but just the reality is that,
If we're shooting for a smaller footprint,
well, right now,
Then
we're
what we're
probably a
projecting for.
6,000 square foot community, and they're working in 1,800 square feet.
Travis, we don't have any option to get the little brick building that's up there on the corner.
You know what's in it?
That is a CenturyLink facility that has been there since it was Northwestern Bell Telephone Company. What I know of franchise utilities is it would be almost impossible, short of actually buying it away from them and probably paying for all the relocations of those facilities.
That was why we didn't purchase it when we purchased the rest of the block.
Did we approach them at all?
I don't think we did.
I think we did, didn't we get an appraisal done for their portion?
I don't remember.
I'll have to
Well, that
revisit that.
appraisal is a different thing. To Travis's point, that, they could say there's no price high enough because of what's in there. And that's where I was getting which I think is a good assumption, but it is an assumption until we talk to them.
Chief did look into the property up on East Vista Lake Avenue. that
108.
is 108 East Vista Lake Avenue. Do you
It's
wanna share
like-
with them?
Yeah, it's about little over 3 acres, and they gave me a number of $450,000. But they thought there might be some room there. I talked to one of the realtors, because it's been for sale for so long.
So we did try to look for some parcels that we knew were existing and that were for sale. That was the best comparison one that we could
Yeah.
come up with.
But that's currently zoned light industrial?
Correct. Yep. And so the trade-off would be you'd be giving up industrial property. It's the one industrial property we have available in town, so.
but in how many years since we built the Wolf Creek Technology Plaza facility, whatever, we've had how many industrial facilities go in there? And the answer to that is the one.
City laundering meets
Two,
the industrial
technically, I
and
think.
Titan
I
storage
guess, yes,
does.
I concede Titan Storage meets that as well, yes.
Yeah,
Again, I would trade, even if there was more interest in the industrial piece, trading 3 acres a mile away versus something, and again, maybe what I have in my head is a pipe dream, but we don't know that because we've not allowed any commercial developers to weigh in on what it could be, what they would be interested in paying for it. And that's kind of my whole point with this, is to approach it similar to Third and Davis, let a professional kick the tires on what it could be, and then have this discussion about a schematic.
So are you in favor of the lot on the Vista Court, Vista Lake Drive and North Third?
Well, I'll answer it this way. If we do something different, you're committed to a plan or we should be committed to you to have a plan going forward. I think there are other properties, one that I have in mind that I don't think would be wise to discuss publicly yet, but there are a number. Actually, what I would be most interested in is engaging a commercial real estate agent, giving them the parameters of what we want, and have them, all due respect to your expertise, it's not in the commercial property space, so why don't we engage somebody to say, what's out there for us? I don't know how big out, I realize the campus feel is one thing, but if you're a mile out, 2 miles out from downtown, it's probably all the same to a certain point. If you want to determine how much land, how far out, and some other requirements that you have.
And we don't have like the requirements like the fire department does with the response time.
Right, so maybe there is no limit as long as it's in the city limits, I don't know. I'm just saying, you come up with here's my nice to haves, here's my need to haves, and then talk to a commercial agent to figure out what properties are available or could be an option.
So Chief, this is just a hypothetical.
Okay.
So we've talked about the property right next door. We've talked about the Third and Davis property. We've talked about the property on Vista and North Third. Do any of those strike you as being a better property, or are you okay with any of them?
If we weren't going to do, if you guys are going to sell that lot, I think the East Vista Lake would be more appealing to me. Just because we're going to be growing out that way.
Chief,
Okay.
is there any perceived benefit that I might not be aware of regarding people passing through town with having a police department within sight when you're coming through a main artery? Is there any sort of studies or information available?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think what Jeff's trying to ask is, would the presence of a police station on the hill right here be a traffic calming element?
Very well could be.
Well,
Would it calm you?
He drives his
I
motorcycle.
don't need, I am such a professional driver, I don't need to be calm.
I
I'm
see. Okay,
very sedate.
so James, do you have a question of Chief?
no question.
Okay, so this is just a discussion item, and so we're not taking any action on this discussion item.
no, but I would like to move this forward. I'm gonna remind the council, the library and police schematic was in the fiscal year 28 CIP. At strategic planning, you asked for it to be bumped up to fiscal year 27, and at budget time, you asked for us to add it to the fiscal year 27 budget. I know there's a desire to get this process started. I'd like to start working so that we can get this one started. I think that if we could put out a request for proposal and have some guidance from a professional architect, that would be helpful. But I'm looking to get this moving for you all. I just need some direction on how you'd like me to proceed forward.
Can I throw another wrench in?
Sure.
I don't know if there's any appetite from fellow councilmen, but would it be possible to, when we're looking at the library, to also get a schematic. I don't know what it does from a budgetary perspective, but a schematic with a rec center as well, in addition to,
Yeah, I think that is something that you could request in the schematic. You probably will pay for 2 schematics.
I don't know if there's any appetite for anybody, but that just seems, that would be, again, I don't know how we would fund it. I don't know if we would have to look at grants, but with that purchase of that additional property there, that just would seem like a missed opportunity to not.
Yeah, that makes total sense, where the addition to the library is a much different thing than a wholly new building for the police department. So for that reason, fill it in with however many options we think we can fit in that space. And if it, I don't know, Jamie, if a schematic helps you fundraise, like, again, we're not to the point where we have a plan with the money needed to build the building, but we know that's where it's going to be in a way that I would prefer not to go with the police station. And to go back to that point, if we want to move forward with the police station, can we get an RFP from commercial developers? Is that moving forward?
We have an RFP out for 510 South 3rd Street right now. It's due next week.
I'm talking about this one.
That's up to you all.
I was open for doing a separate RFP for that property at our discussion of the 3rd and Davis property. So I would say I'm in favor of an RFP for, what are we calling this block?
300 South 4th Street.
300
is
South
the
4th
address.
Street? Yep. I would be open for an RFP.
So we went from a schematic to now doing an RFP on the
But
property.
What's the harm?
No, there's no harm. I just want to land on something for Chelsea to be able to take away and for us to actually move forward on it.
It's an arbitrary deadline to move ahead on, in my opinion, but if, there's no version of the path forward here where anything happens in the next couple of years. So spending 60 days or 90 days to get opinions.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I am absolutely fine with, I want everybody to be on the same page. I want us all to be like rowing in the same direction. We know what's going to happen and we feel comfortable with where each other is. So whatever that means, and maybe it won't happen, but if it's RFPing that, running that through, looking at East Vista Lake Drive, whatever everybody lands on, I mean,
I don't have any problem with it. I feel like we should only do one RFP at a time. We can spread them out. We got time.
That's fair.
We could hear them back in 3 to 4 months, and then we could get a schematic back for this, but also in a few months, do an RFP and see if there's any interest.
So you want to sit on that RFP. Would you be open to, in the meantime, engaging with a real estate agent to tell us what else is available for potential police station?
of course.
What's the problem, Jeff?
Are you asking me?
No,
He's asking me. Yeah, I could get behind the RFP. I think we should do the RFP to see what happens, and if there's no bites, then why go look to spend money for something else we already own? So I would rather, if we were gonna go one route or another, I would say put all of our eggs in the basket to see if we could do something with that property, and if nothing happens, then.
That's also reasonable to me. I'm not
Yeah.
100% opposed to the 4th Street block being the police station.
But as far as direction to the city staff, can we agree that they can move forward with the 2 schematics?
no. I thought,
No, not for the police station if we're not sure we're going to use that block.
I thought we were there.
I thought we were.
Sorry,
moving-
it just
I thought
doesn't- it doesn't make
the
sense
RFP was
to-
moving ahead.
So,
It doesn't make sense to do a schematic
Yeah.
for a block if we're not going to use that schematic.
so devil's advocate here, we do an RFP on the lot next door to us, no bites on it. Is the council ready to move forward with having the schematic done for the police station there? Or does it get put on hold once again?
So devil's advocate to that plan, why do we have one set of plans for 3rd and Davis and one set of plans here?
What?
mean,
I don't think we do. I thought we
We
were gonna
absolutely
go-
do.
I thought we were gonna go this one first and then worry about something else.
what I'm
later.
saying is, for Third and Davis, we've gone through 3 or 4 different rounds of RFPs. We've gotten inadequate results, and we keep doing that. But you're saying for this lot, it's one and done.
No, I'm asking the question, I mean, if we do it and it comes back as nothing, are we interested in moving on, or are we just
I
gonna
don't
sit
know
on
what
it?
it depends on what the feedback is.
Yeah, I think he just asked if you'd be interested in doing a schematic if there wasn't really any feedback on an RFP for that lot.
So, but you're asking for that now, or the RFP
I was
first?
trying to articulate to Rob what we're,
So the RFP comes back with nothing. The question then is, do we move forward with the schematic on that block then?
yes.
I would like the RFP as well as information about what else is available. We don't find any useful alternatives, then schematic is where I would be.
I propose we table the police station schematic talk for now.
Well, I don't know, I think we're just into it pretty good here. I think
we have,
We've got competing ideas on the table, but I don't know
Yeah.
how far we are from a consensus about how to move forward. Minutes or 4 hours.
I just don't understand why we moved it from 28 to 27 if we feel like we're not ready to move forward, because we are approaching 27 very quickly. And we could have just simply left it in the year 2028.
that's a good question.
I will cop to making a mistake, moving it up, if that's the
I
answer
mean, the
to it.
plan's changed. We've moved things from CIP up, down, all over the place. I just don't understand why this one is so much different than every other thing that's been in the CIP.
Well, okay, so we can either move ahead with the RFP on the lot next door. We can table the whole thing for a discussion down the road. That's where we are,
Travis,
right?
you look pretty professional there.
Just listening.
With your head down?
Doing a lot of thinking.
Suppose if we're having a discussion about a schematic and we end up making a decision about a completely different thing, can we just let the other RFP run its course and then come back to this conversation about potentially doing one there afterwards? An RFP.
Okay, so
Just
we
finish
are
up the
going ahead
third.
with,
I just think if we're ever gonna move directions, we gotta keep a conversation about what the topic is.
So,
but we've skipped about 4 steps to get to the schematic is my whole problem. So it
I'm
makes it
suggesting we go
difficult
do
to.
the schematic.
Okay. But I'm explaining to you the logic about why it's so messy. I think this was out of order. If we can go back, then I don't know what that means for revisiting this conversation, because we may be on another path entirely.
all right, so, are we giving Chelsea guidance to do an RFP on the lot next door to us?
So I know you guys want to talk about the RFP next door. It's not on the agenda, though. The discussion item on the agenda is a discussion of the library and police schematic, so I don't think you can talk about the RFP until it's on the agenda.
Can we put that on the
We're
agenda for the next meeting?
Giving you
when
direction to
the RFP
put
is
an
completed?
RFP on the agenda, right?
Is that the direction that you're all giving, or do you want
That's
to
what it
see
does.
how we receive proposals for 510 South Third Street at the next meeting?
I would like to just go over the proposals and do one RFP at a time, and then we can talk about it.
If we need to wait for this RFP, I'm fine with that, as long as we do it before the schematic,
This RFP, meaning,
the next door RFP.
oh, okay. So we're gonna do one RFP at a time. And we're doing one on Third and Davis, and we're gonna have information on that at the next council meeting.
Yes, yep,
All right, so can we just leave it there at that?
yep, I think we're good.
We don't have any further discussion of the library schematic, or we're just putting both of them on hold?
I guess that's up to you all. Do you want to talk about the library schematic?
Does it make sense for us to proceed
is on the
viewing
agenda.
these separately or bidding them out as one?
I think you would save money doing them together.
It's my inclination as well, so.
Okay
All
then.
right, Jamie.
Okay then, we're gonna move on. Then you've got your guidance.
Yep.
We're gonna move on to item number 8, which is reports and particulars. Thank you, Chief, by the way. And we'll begin with anything from staff. Yes.
So, this week, we are approaching the end of stage 2 of the roundabout construction. Either late this week or early next week, we're still trying to hammer out the exact details. The signs say 529. That may move a little bit based on contractor availability to actually move the traffic control. We will flip into stage 3 of the roundabout construction, which will involve closing the east leg of Northside Drive. There will be a signed detour starting at 44th and Northside Drive on a route up 44th, over on 126th, and then back down Northwest Sheldall Drive / 3rd Street. 6th Street and Madison will be closed to through traffic to try and mitigate some of the heavy machinery moving through that area. Northside Drive up until the closure will remain open to local traffic, but will also be closed to through traffic at Northside Drive and 44th Street. So wanted to make council aware of that so that you guys are aware of what's happening. All of the signs for the detour have been mounted, and then it will be basically one full day to flip that over. And then that stage is to be completed and the intersection completely open to traffic by August 10th of 2026. That is the contract that you have with Absolute Group. That's the timing on that. So they are to be open to traffic is the way we wrote. So they are to be unimpeding, and it's to have all 3 legs open by August 10th of 2026.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you for that update. Anybody else? Any other staff? Hearing none. Chelsea, anything from you?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Council members, anything from you?
I got something, so I see, Chief, that Officer Blaha Polson started.
Yes.
We're going to be starting it back from Syria, so I just wanted to shout out to him, thank him for his service, especially in lieu of yesterday, right? I mean, he was in the thick of it. Also, one of my neighbors was gone for the last 3 months, and I walk in and he stopped me intentionally and said, "Hey, I want to just compliment the police department." And I was all ears. Usually we don't just get somebody coming up and say how great a job. Well, they were out for 3 months or so, and they had let you know that they were on vacation or just out seasonal snowbirds. And you guys went by their place a bunch of times checking on it, like not getting out checking, and actually logged it in the book. So the logs were given back to the owner when they returned. And he was just ecstatic, the fact that they had been by it 100 times. I mean, and they were gone for a long time too. So, I mean, that's what this community is made of, and that's how we are different, and that's the people we have. So thank you, Chief, for that.
I do have something real quick, Mr. Mayor. I just want to call a shout out to everyone that participated in the community with Memorial Day flags. Especially want to thank the Legion for their participation in putting flags out, as well as the Comet wrestling team. For those who are not aware, they had the opportunity to purchase flags. My neighborhood was lined up with the 5-foot flags, and there was a lot of people that weren't aware of those, and they've asked. So I know we had some conversation here that I think they're going to sell more flags before 4th of July. So I do want to thank them for that very wonderful opportunity for them to raise some funds and support the holidays this year.
I think, do you know, Susan, it's an annual, so that if you're not in, you don't have the opportunity until next season, I think. But I was gonna say that.
I think they're gonna try to do some mid-season signups.
Okay.
So I would
Even
definitely
better.
be,
I was gonna say the same thing. It always looks good around here with the flags on Memorial Day. It looked even better this year with the Comet Wrestling Club and that, and I hope it takes off. one of the best $100 you can spend towards a good group and a great value add to the community. So, thank you for staying too. I know the last chunk had to be quite the test, but you powered through. I don't know, I will say to some degree, that particular chunk of the trail changed a lot, so I apologize if that didn't get communicated, and happy to talk more to figure out how best to accommodate getting that in while having as minimally of an impact to your property. So appreciate you coming out and sharing that with us.
Anyone else, council? So I do have just one thing. The Polk City, North Polk Living came out last week, and this is really a compliment for Park and Rec, and there's not even anybody here tonight to hear it from me, but I'm sure they're watching from home. The North Polk Living had this wonderful schedule in it of the 2026 Four Seasons Festival events, broken down very specifically from hour by hour. I've been involved with the Four Seasons Festival now. This would be my 5th year. And we just were never this organized at this point before. And so I just wanted to praise Park and Rec and their staff for really taking control of this Four Seasons Festival and getting things organized. And I ripped this out last week, because I'm still a paper guy, and put it on my desk so that I can follow along those 2 days. And I talked to somebody today, another citizen, who told me that they had done the exact same thing. So there's at least 2 of us who really appreciated this being in North Polk Living Magazine, and I believe there probably are other people as well. So good you, Park and Rec. Item number 8 is adjournment. And so I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn. Take a breath.
Moved.
Second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are adjourned until June 8th.
Yeah.